Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Love Kher and I'm here sitting with my friend Mr. KJ Sharma. Today we are going to be discussing deteriorating human values. We'll be talking about what are the causes of such a deterioration in human values and then how it can be addressed so that we can improve the value system in the society. So, Mr. Sharma, uh, please introduce yourself and let's briefly talk about it.
Yeah, my good friend Mr. Lokel, um, we we planned together that we exchange our views on various issues that in today's world, we humanity we have facing a lot of issues. We find that the human values are deteriorating, going down. So many conflicts are going on around the world in human society. So much of mistrust, disrespect, disharmony, and lot of issues are cropping up day in day out everywhere in the world. And eh, at our age, after having so much of experience and seeing the world, we have started thinking and feeling that what is wrong that such situation the world is facing today. So when we deliberated among ourselves, we thought extensively. We started realizing that the main problem is that we, among all the human being in different parts of the world, the problem is that the humanity is divided so much in the name of faith, cultural practices, social conditions. So these are the three main factors that uh, are the main factors based on which the differences are bound to be there, because geographically different cultures, we are living in different cultures in different parts of the world. Similarly, we have different faiths practiced by the human being in different parts of the world. But more so nowadays, human beings are traveling all over the world, so it is not necessary that people of one faith only are living in one country or in one part of the world. People of all faiths are in every country, in every part of the world. But then, what is happening that, all human beings who are of different faiths, they are carrying their own notions, their own faith, and based on their own faiths, uh, differences are bound to be there, which is the product of, product of the human mind.
So, Mr. Sharma, the the human values were going down
Yeah.
back even in the medieval days when there was more torture, more suffering. Would you say that compared to the medieval days, now the value system has gone down further, or is it different? And if so, why now?
No, you see, if we go back uh, to the medieval age and all that, of course, those days, let us not talk about those days, because those days, a lot of barbarians and the civilizations were not that evolved. Today, human civilization is much more evolved. Culturally, also, we are much more evolved. Culturally, we are much more conscious about, and we are much more informed about each other's culture, because people are traveling all over the world. So they also see the different geographical regions and the life conditions and the cultural conditions and the civilizational, you know, belongings to the people and the way of life. So things had been much, much better. But in spite of all that, why we say that human values are going down, the, as I mentioned that, as we feel that because of the faith, cultural differences, and also geographical conditions, the other factor is also political influences, political reasons, and people are becoming, unethical because, when we are in politics, the politicians are supposed to be uh, thinking for the overall interest of the humanity, all the people, maybe of different faiths, maybe of any cultural differences, and all that. But in spite of all that, things are uh, not becoming very harmonious. Things are not becoming very harmonious. For an instance, see, there was no reason for Putin to did aggression on Ukraine. I mean, these two countries where people were living separately, but exchanges were there. People were traveling from Russia to Ukraine, Ukraine to Russia, and things were going on okay. But at the same time, if you take in case of China, China has got so much of geographical ambition that they are trying to capture different neighboring countries' areas. So these kind of things, so these kind of issues were always there. The people were traveling and they were trying to occupy and defeat and fight and all that. These things had been going on among the humanity for a long time, and maybe it might continue also. But our main purpose of thinking uh, today, in order to address a little bit so that the human values which are going down,
How can we improve them,
how we can restrict it, how we can try to improve it,
uplift the society?
uplift the society,
Mhm.
so that
So, what are the two, three, four things that
yes,
we as humanity should do
yeah,
to uplift the society so that the suffering at least is minimized?
yes. The most important thing is that in my thinking, the entire world, as we have created United Nations, so we have got the United Nations platform where every country is a member and every country's representatives are there. From that platform, the entire humanity should develop a curriculum for ethical knowledge, for ethical education, as how to maintain the dignity of entire humanity, how to remove the cultural differences, how to address the cultural differences, and how to also create harmony among the interfaith or the differences between the different faiths and all that. If we create that kind of a curriculum which which is which is given to all the countries, that in all the countries from the school days itself, from the early days of education, from childhood, that knowledge, that ethical education as a common program should be given to the entire humanity in every country to start with. Because the children are the building block of the whole society. Ethical education should start from that age, and that should be common for all the humanity all over the world in every country. Not that, some curriculum is developed for ethical in X country and Y country and Z country. Then what will happen? That will be influenced by the educators of that country. The cultural influence will be there. The religious or the faith influences will be there. So from one platform of United Nations, as a common curriculum program, it should be created and disseminated, and the whole world, all the countries, the politicians and the government should be requested to conduct the same educational ethical program in all the countries from very early days of education.
So, therefore, are you suggesting that in the United Nations, one of their bodies that they have, there should be emphasis on common basic ethical education
Yes,
that curricula should be developed, which has to be agreed by the member nations, right?
yes, yes.
Unless it is agreed by the member nations,
Yeah,
the chances of adoption are very difficult.
right. So that is why this should be this should be discussed at the United Nations platform where all the countries are the members over there. And this should be discussed ethically that look, we are all human beings, our human emotions, our human life is all common. Why should we have differences from human to human? So, this is a common problem for the entire humanity. It's not only country to country, even within the country. Even within the country, there are so much of differences among the people that there is disharmony even within the country. Or even take any society in the same society, lot of people are there and they have got a lot of differences.
So, therefore, Mr. Sharma, don't you think that before it is taken by the United Nations platform, shouldn't there be a pilot run by one or two countries which will show that how a common ethical curricula, if implemented in that particular country, can help us improve the society by and large? Because to get the consensus of the United Nations, as you imagine, is not a trivial task. It's very complex. We know that for even simple things, United Nations debates and debates forever, nothing comes out. I think if we build a pilot program in one or two nations and then run it over there, because like you said, within the country there are lots of differences, right? You pick any country, there are so many different dialects, so many different differences in the culture. So if we can demonstrate that a country has developed that program and they have implemented it, and then see how it evolves over 5 years period, while doing that, a groundwork has to be done in the United Nations to build the consensus.
No, because you see, if any program is developed in a X or Y country, we will not, first of all, if it is developed in XY country, a particular country, other countries will have their own reservations.
Mhm.
That's number one. Number two, see, because every country has got different culture, different geographical situation, different kinds of issues, and different kinds of combination of faiths and all that. So one country's program, other countries' people will have reservation. No, 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 it may not suit us. Because at the very outset, people will have reservation to accept one country's program because they will start thinking, why that country, is that country superior to us? Why we should accept some one country's program? So the best option would be an United Nations platform is common for all the countries. Every country has got the access to this platform. Every country is a member of this body. So what United Nations should do, that United Nations should form a committee. That committee should invite people from different regions, different countries, the highly educated, well-informed people who have got uh, sufficient knowledge, high educational and ethical background. Such kind of people should be picked up from different parts of the world. They should constitute a committee, and that committee members should sit together and evolve this ethical program for the entire humanity.
Mhm.
That will be that will be easily acceptable to the rest of the world. You see, our entire world, we have got 6 continents. So the people from every continent should be represented in that committee. And people from all other faiths also would be there. Not people from one particular faith or one particular reason. So that is why it is better that we picked up United Nations should pick up the people from the whole reason. Committee should be formed, and that committee should develop this program.
So, in your opinion, do you think United Nations will adopt such a program and will take the initiative?
Yes, it is very easy to do that because United Nations is already conducting so many programs for children's, for health, for trade, for so many things. Like UNESCO is there, who is there? There are so many programs are already going on. So similarly, this program should also be started by United Nations, and I hope entire humanity, all the countries will support it, because without common ethical program for the humanity, things cannot become harmonious. Because today, what is happening is that because of the internet and social media, the boundaries of the countries are already broken. Sitting in one part of the world, you can reach your message to millions of people in fraction of a second.
Mhm.
So in this situation, if any wrong information is disseminated, it can create distortion, disharmony, chaos, conflict, and a lot of human issues. So more so, it is the time that the United Nations must act it immediately. We don't have time. We don't have to create a program and then try for 5 years and then come back and implement it. It has to be, this program must be developed within a month's time, 30 days. 30 days should be given to the committee to develop this curriculum that should be adopted by the entire humanity in all the countries from the school education, early school education.
So, unless there is a champion within United Nations who can put this motion in the General Assembly,
Yes.
it won't happen. You know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So, in order to bring that motion, somebody has to take the leadership role,
Yes. So
and then only it will happen.
that's right. So because both of us had been feeling this thing and we had been exchanging our views and we had been thinking, this idea has come up, realizing that the entire humanity is facing this kind of a problem. We can either two of us, or we can approach the Secretary General of United Nations. We can write to Secretary General of United Nations, or we can also talk about this issue to our politicians in our country, and this can be conveyed to United Nations to take up this issue immediately.
All right.
This will be the best way, as I conceive, I think, uh, to address this issue.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. Until next time, good evening, and we'll meet you next week.